Welcome to the deep dive. So today we are cracking open a story that, it really flips the traditional narrative you hear about celebrity divorce.
It really does.
We're talking about the massive, and I mean massive, child support obligations against Oscar winner Halle Berry.
Yeah, and this is one of the most significant and, frankly, often misunderstood legal case studies from the last decade, especially when you look at high net worth family law.
Right.
So we're not here for the gossip. We're here to really analyze the cold, hard dollars, the years of litigation, and, the legal principles that drive these disputes. Our mission is clear then. Look past the headlines and understand in detail how and why courts get to these staggering financial numbers when one parent is a global superstar. And you have to start with the figure that just stunned everyone back in 2014.
Oh, yeah. The jaw-dropping $16,000 monthly payment.
Exactly. In her first major settlement.
That ruling was seismic at the time because it showed unequivocally that child support in modern courts is completely gender neutral.
It's driven entirely by financial capacity and the child's standard of living. It set a really powerful precedent.
Okay, so let's unpack that first case, the one that set the precedent. This was with her former partner, the model Gabriel Aubry, for their daughter, Nala.
Right. Their relationship itself was, 2005 to 2010?
Yeah, about 5 years. But the legal fight went on much longer.
Oh, much longer. It was May 2014 when a Superior Court judge finally approved the ruling, and it laid out some really intense long-term financial duties for Berry.
And that's where the $16,000 a month comes in.
$16,000.
Yeah.
A month in child support.
Do the math. That's nearly $200,000 a year every single year.
And it doesn't stop. Those payments continue until Nala either graduates high school or turns 19.
And when you look at that amount, it's not just for, basic expenses. The court is mandating that amount to replicate the lifestyle the child would have if the parents were still together.
That's the critical distinction. The law says the child is entitled to share in that high earner's economic success. And on top of the $16,000, Berry also agreed to cover all of Nala's school tuition.
And medical care was split. Medical was split equally, yeah. But here's where you really see the cost of the legal battle itself. The lump sums. The lump sums were just massive. They tell their own story, don't they?
Absolutely. So beyond that monthly check, Berry had to immediately pay $115,000 in retroactive back support.
Okay.
But even more telling, I think, was the $300,000 she was ordered to pay to cover Aubry's attorney fees.
$300,000 just for his lawyers.
Right. And that's not a bonus.
Yeah.
In these really high conflict cases, courts use fee awards strategically. It can be to, say, level the playing field so the less wealthy person can actually afford to fight back.
Or it can be a penalty, right?
Or it can be a direct penalty.
Yeah.
The court is basically saying, you're the one with the deep pockets who can afford this long fight, so you're going to cover the cost for everyone.
So let's go back to the fundamental math. What was the undeniable justification for that specific number? $16,000 a month. How do they land there?
It boils down almost entirely to income disparity. That's the pillar of California family law.
Okay.
The sources show this staggering difference in their earnings. Halle Berry's reported gross income in 2012 was $4.7 million.
Wow.
Gabriel Aubry's reported income for that same year was about $193,000.
That's not a gap. That's a chasm.
It's a chasm. And when income is that high, the court goes way beyond simple calculators. It's assessing the child's needs, which in this world includes things like private security, exclusive schools, international travel.
Maintaining multiple homes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the court looked at that $4.7 million and decided that $16,000 a month was the baseline to maintain that very affluent lifestyle for Nala. It makes it purely a capacity issue.
And all of those assumptions about gender or who the primary caretaker is?
Yeah.
They just go out the window.
Completely. And remember, that money is tax-free for him and non-deductible for her. It's a huge post-tax burden that falls entirely on the one with the greatest financial success.
Now, these settlements, they don't happen in a vacuum, right? They're usually the result of years of legal warfare. And Berry's history does show a pattern of pretty contentious splits.
That's right. If you look at her earlier relationships, the divorce from David Justice was reportedly very fraught. And then with Eric Benet, he actively challenged their prenup and was seeking spousal support. So there is a history of high-stakes, financially messy endings. But the custody battle with Aubry was really the turning point that cemented the financial stakes we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it all came down to one key issue: geography. That 2012 court order, the one that blocked Berry from moving their daughter to France, That was the defining event.
She wanted to move there with her then-fiancé, Olivier Martinez, right, to get away from the LA paparazzi.
Exactly. And the judge said no. That decision was critical because it legally anchored both parents, and therefore Nala, permanently in Los Angeles.
Wow.
It guaranteed years of intense hostile co-parenting in very close proximity.
And once you force people into that situation, that kind of long-term, high-conflict co-parenting, the tension just exploded.
It reached a really alarming peak on Thanksgiving Day in 2012. We all saw the photos. That physical brawl between Aubry and Martinez, where both men ended up needing hospital treatment, that level of violence is a huge red flag for the court. It shows the co-parenting relationship is completely broken. And that's when you see judges step in with strict orders and often severe financial consequences for the person with the deepest pockets.
Which is exactly what happened in 2014.
Exactly.
And that bitter legal environment with Aubry, it didn't end things. It just sort of primed the pump for the next battle, which was somehow even longer.
It's incredible.
This is the transition to Olivier Martinez, a 2-year marriage that led to an 8-year legal marathon.
The duration of the Martinez case it's just astonishing. The marriage itself was just 2 years, 2013 to 2015.
Right.
But the divorce and custody settlement for their son, Maceo, wasn't finalized until August 2023, 8 years later.
8 years. That timeline tells you everything, doesn't it? The litigation lasted 4 times longer than the actual marriage.
Right. And they were so deadlocked, they had to resort to divorcing in pieces. They bifurcated the divorce back in 2016.
So what does that mean exactly, bifurcated?
It's a legal move where you dissolve the marriage first. It makes them legally single again, but separates that from the really messy stuff like custody and finance.
So they were legally divorced for years before they figured out the money and the kid.
Exactly. It tells you that the asset division, which is usually simple with a prenup, was the easy part. The real enduring obstacles were the financial warfare and custody logistics over their son.
And the financial structure they finally agreed on in 2023 for Maceo, it's very different from the Aubry model, isn't it?
It's a much more sophisticated arrangement. It's designed for an income that can fluctuate wildly, like an actor's.
Okay, so walk us through the new formula.
So Berry was ordered to pay a fixed amount of $8,000 a month to Martinez. That's the baseline.
Half of what she pays Aubry. Half of the fixed payment, yes. But here is the crucial difference. The income escalator. She has to pay an additional 4.3% of any annual income she makes above a $2 million threshold. That escalator is fascinating. So she has a huge blockbuster year, big Netflix deal or something, and her income shoots way past that 2 million mark. Martinez and Maceo get a direct, immediate cut of that success.
Absolutely. The clause ensures that the child continuously benefits from her success in real time. The court doesn't want the child's lifestyle to fall behind just because a parent's wealth is growing and the old fixed payment didn't keep up.
And again, on top of that, she's responsible for all the supplemental costs, right?
Everything. Maceo's school tuition, health insurance, all medical care, extracurriculars, all of it. The one difference is they do share joint legal and physical custody with time split equally.
You would think after 8 years of fighting, they'd finally close the book. But then in 2024, reports came out that Berry filed new legal action.
Yeah, accusing Martinez of being an aggressive and uncooperative co-parent. It just demonstrates that a court order provides a structure, but it doesn't necessarily end the underlying animosity.
Conflict continues.
It does. And that legal commitment to co-parent is essentially permanent until Maceo is an adult. The cost of managing that ongoing conflict, it often just eclipses the initial expense of the marriage.
So let's just synthesize this for everyone listening. Halle Berry is managing 2 massive, distinct legal obligations at the same time. The fixed $16,000 a month to Gabriel Aubry, then the $8,000 fixed payment to Olivier Martinez, plus that 4.3% escalator, plus all the tuition and medical for 2 kids. It is a profound dual financial commitment. It could easily total 7 figures a year when you factor everything in. And the different structures are key. The Aubry deal was about a high fixed payment and big lump sums to deal with that initial conflict.
Right. The Martinez deal was more about the long term, that income escalator to capture her future growth. Both were expertly tailored to her massive income capacity under California law.
So what's the major takeaway here, beyond just the celebrity angle? What does this show us about the modern family court system?
Well, the primary thing it demonstrates is the real measurable cost of conflict, especially with kids involved. Both of these cases prove that the legal warfare can consume far more time and money than the original relationship ever did.
It's a high-profile affirmation that financial obligations are now based purely on capacity and the child's needs, completely separate from gender roles. It really puts the concept of success in a stark light. The fame and fortune that get you to the top of your career also saddle you with this staggering, lifelong legal and financial responsibility.
That's exactly right.
It forces you to think that for a global star, the end of a romance is really just the beginning of a business partnership managed by the courts, one that lasts for decades.
That long-term legal structuring becomes the fixed price of fame and motherhood when you're the highest earner. It's the cost of maintaining that standard of living for the child, and it just shows the immense power of the court to structure a wealthy person's life for decades after a relationship is over.
It definitely gives you something to think about, that for people in the public eye, every relationship with a child isn't just personal. It becomes a permanent and often extremely expensive legal business partnership that doesn't end until that child is grown, a heavy weight to carry.